Man's girlfriend directly announced at her graduation ceremony that she was going to marry a rich second generation. The man immediately went over to question his girlfriend about what was going on. People were confused as to why the man would ask such a question. The man, however, said that the person on stage was his girlfriend. The rich second generation asked the woman what was going on. The woman said the man was lying. He was just one of her pursuers, and she had never promised him anything. Everything was just the man's one-sided wish. The woman's best friend stepped forward to speak on behalf of the man. For all these years, the man had worked to pay for the woman's tuition fees and her mother's medical expenses. Wasn't what she was doing too unfair to the man? But the woman immediately suspected that her best friend had an improper relationship with the man. At this moment, the man realized that his girlfriend was such a materialistic woman, so he asked the woman to return the money he had spent on her over the years, totaling $200,000. Unexpectedly, the woman directly splashed a drink on the man's body. She said, "This cup is worth $500,000 and it's already paid off." The woman's best friend accused her of going too far. Unexpectedly, the rich second generation stood up to support the woman. The best friend felt something was wrong and pulled the man to leave. But the rich second generation directly ordered the security to stop them. He demanded that the man kneel and clean the dirty path before they could leave. The man strongly resisted. This caused the only photo on him to fall to the ground. The rich second generation picked it up and saw that it was a photo of the man with his parents. He casually greeted the man's parents. The ex-girlfriend's mother said that the man's parents had divorced 20 years ago, and they left the man in the country without taking him. Everyone thought he was an orphan abandoned by his parents, which was why he ended up in such a miserable situation. In reality, the man's parents had not abandoned him. They had both believed their son had been taken by the other parent. A few days ago, both the man's parents, successful in their careers, had returned to the country, but they unexpectedly bumped into each other at the airport. The man's mother said she came back to visit her son. She asked where her son was, but the man's father said the son had always been with his mother. The mother said that after their divorce, she had gone abroad for a mission. She hadn't taken their son. The father then said he had left the son with the mother and hadn't taken him abroad. At that moment, they both realized they had left their son alone in the country without anyone to care for him. Then their staff found the man's growth experience over the years and played it for the parents. It was then they learned how much their son had suffered while growing up alone. To make it up to their son, they immediately dispatched people to find out where he was. At that time, they received the news that the man was at the hotel attending his girlfriend's graduation ceremony. They immediately had people prepare gifts, determined to help their son get married. Meanwhile, the man was looking at the only photo he had, now torn apart by the rich second generation. He felt heartbroken, but the rich second generation did not intend to let him go. At that moment, the man's father arrived first at the hotel banquet hall. He stopped the rich second generation's actions. Soon after, the man's mother also appeared at the banquet hall. Seeing their long-lost family, the man hugged them and cried. But at this moment, the ex-girlfriend's mother suddenly interrupted the warm reunion. She said the man was just a poor migrant worker. He wasn't worthy of marrying her daughter. She demanded they quickly leave with their son. The man's father wanted to teach her a lesson, but his assistant informed him that this was his son's girlfriend's mother. For his son's happiness, he pretended to be kind and introduced himself to her. He also said he had prepared a generous dowry. The man's mother wasn't willing to be outdone. She said she also prepared special gifts for her son and daughter-in-law. As long as the two of them married and served tea to her first, she would give them everything. But the man's father said the tea should be served to him first. So the two of them started arguing over the issue. At this point, the man's ex-girlfriend couldn't stand it anymore. She said her boyfriend was a rich second generation. Their son was not good enough for her. The man's parents asked what that meant. The man explained that he regretted not seeing his ex-girlfriend's true nature at the time. He had found a person who was materialistic. Then he prepared to leave with his parents. But unexpectedly, after hearing this, the parents immediately changed their attitude. They said anyone who bullied their son would have to pay the price. Unexpectedly, the ex-girlfriend's mother directly said, "Two people who work illegally abroad, why are they so arrogant?" The man's father's assistant was about to reveal his identity, but was stopped. He said he was willing to give them another chance, but the man's ex-girlfriend directly rejected him. She even arrogantly believed that a migrant worker with a monthly salary of only $3,000 wasn't even worthy to shine her shoes. She also said that no one in the room would be willing to marry a poor person like the man. At this moment, the woman's best friend suddenly spoke up. She said she was willing to be with the man. Although he earned little, he had a kind heart, and she had liked him for a long time. Now that the woman didn't know how to cherish him, she could compete with her fairly. Seeing her best friend going against her, the woman angrily wanted to hit her. Luckily, the man stopped kept her in time. The man's parents were very pleased with the girl. They decided to give her the dowry directly. As everyone waited to see what dowry the poor parents would give, the man comforted the girl, saying his parents were not well off abroad. The dowry definitely wouldn't be that expensive. The girl, however, said she didn't mind. But at this point, the man's parents hesitated. If the gift was too expensive and their son discovered their true identity, wouldn't he blame them for abandoning him when he was young? To prevent their son from discovering something was wrong, they immediately decided to act poor. They changed into cleaning clothes. This action left the man stunned. He asked where the dowry they had prepared was. The father said he suddenly felt that it was fine not to give a dowry. As long as the two of them had a good relationship, it would be enough. The people around only thought the man's parents couldn't afford anything. They were just pretending to be rich. But the parents didn't want to reveal their identity, so they arranged for their assistant to return the dowry. Unfortunately, the assistant was on the phone when the signal was bad. The team delivering the dowry didn't hear the upper management's instructions. They thought they were being asked to hurry up, so the team set off with the dowry in a grand procession.